Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, oh, excuse me, not Tuesday, Thursday, March 13th, 2025. I'm so used to our general infrac meetings that I started with the same introduction. My name is Michael Dowry, and I serve as receiver for the city of Chester. We are joined here today for a special meeting, a special announcement, and I want to thank our participants for joining us here on the call. On behalf of the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, we are joined by Secretary Siger and two of his deputies, Mr. Rick Valello and Mr. Andrew Sheaf. Um, and we are also joined by, on behalf of the City of Chester, Mayor Stefan Roots, and as always, since day one, Chief of Staff to this engagement, Mr. Vijay Kapoor. Good afternoon, gentlemen. To get us started, I am going to turn this over to Secretary Siger for our special announcement.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. Thanks, Mayor, VJ, Rick, and Andrew, and members of the public for having me here today. Today's a bittersweet day. Today, I accepted the resignation of Michael Dowry as Chester receiver and appointed Vijay Kapoor to serve as the city's new Act 47 receiver, which must be approved by the Commonwealth Court. And if approved, Vijay will become the new receiver July 1st, 2025. Michael will step down the day before. And I'm proud to have Vijay here, not just because he's been chief of staff for Mike Dowry since day one through his entire 5-year tenure as receiver, but because he has a long history of providing economic support, strategic advice for municipalities all across Pennsylvania. This is really like his specialty. And prior to this work, for example, he served on the Act 47 fiscal recovery teams for Reading and Newcastle, other cities in Pennsylvania that have gone through similar circumstances. I'm also really proud to celebrate today the legacy of Michael Dowry. He's the longest serving receiver in the history of Act 47 in Pennsylvania. And while we're sorry to lose him, we're very pleased, and I think importantly, he's really pleased to be accepting a terrific new position at York College in Pennsylvania, much closer to home for Michael. And I will say, when he became receiver in 2020, before my time as secretary, of course, Dowry and Kapoor and their team faced one of the most significant financial crises in the history of Pennsylvania. For example, the police pension fund had just over $1 million in it. There were $40 million owed in past due pension payments. A third of the city's workforce had been furloughed. And over these past 5 years, they've worked together along with the city, along with our team at DCED, to rebuild the administration in the city, currently under the leadership of Mayor Roots, who we'll hear from in a second. And they've made real strides. The 2025 budget, for example, had no layoffs or service cuts. They're making vital improvements to public works, including things like trash collection and LED lights, equipment modernization, road repairs, and facility upgrades. And while it's clear that Chester is on much better footing than it was 5 years ago, there's still much more work to do. And so while we are earnestly, and I am personally sorry to see Michael move on from this position, we wish him the very best in a terrific new role. And we're extremely excited to have Vijay Kapoor continue and sustain the progress and the approach that we've taken these last 5 years. And we wanted to make sure that folks in the public heard from us with today's announcement. So with that, I'm pleased to turn it over to the leader of the city of Chester, Mayor Stefan Roots. Mayor, please.
Good afternoon, and those were great comments. Bittersweet. That's the term of the day. That's really the term of the day. In the last 15 months as mayor, I've worked very closely with the receivership team, but I have been following receivership since before my tenure as council person 2 years prior to my run at mayor, and got to know the receiver, Michael Dowry, in ways that I would have never expected. I was more of a community journalist at that time. So I was just trying to track and report to the community what exactly this receivership was in layman's terms so the community would understand. And I remember challenging him directly saying, aren't you supposed to be just crunching numbers and making sure we get out of our financial mess? When I saw him showing up at community events around the city, I'm like, why are you picking up trash when you should be fixing the numbers? And he directly just told me, hey, listen, if I don't understand why I'm doing this work, if I don't understand the people that I'm doing this work for, if I don't understand the community that I'm trying to fix, I cannot do my job effectively. And those words have stuck with me and have rung true for the time that I've worked with him. This is an extraordinary team you guys have put together to help us get out of our financial situation here in the city of Chester. The more I spend time with him, there are times my eyes roll and head spin at the complexity of the things that you guys are tackling. Both Michael Dowry and Vijay Kapoor as the chief of staff, and the people that they've brought on board, the different consultants that work in the capacities that they do. But I see the results, just as you mentioned, Mr. Secretary. The trajectory has been very steep and very fast. We still have a long way to go. And my job as mayor is to just maintain that vision of where we want to go. And you guys have definitely filled in the gaps and have been very sincere in helping us get there. So, to that end, I want to welcome. I'm going to soon welcome. I anticipate Vijay Kapoor to take over the reins as a receiver for the city of Chester, and I'm so glad that the potential of seeing Vijay be the captain of this ship is really great as well, because it brings that continuity that I was afraid would be broken with the announcement of Mr. Dowry leaving. So it's like the same team, we're still going to be together. We're still going to be working cohesively. The momentum won't be broken in any way, shape, or form. Michael, we're going to miss you. But I have your number, and if I need you, I'm going to be calling you. But in all sincerity, speaking on behalf of the city, we have truly, truly, truly valued what you've brought to us, your knowledge, your honesty, your forthrightness, and even in times when we don't disagree, we're not scratching and clawing. We're all trying to get to that end of making a better Chester. So to Michael, to Vijay, and to all of DCED and the state of Pennsylvania for paying attention to the little town of Chester. The model that we're going with now is join the fight for Chester. You guys are certainly the training grounds for, the future of Chester, and you're laying out just exactly what we need to see here. So thank you guys. I'm honored to give you a couple more years as mayor, at least, as we get through this process. Hopefully it'll all be over soon, but like the Sixers used to say, trust the process, and that's where we are right now.
Good.
Thank you, Mayor Roots and Secretary Seiger. I first just want to say this is by far the greatest send-off that I've ever received. So I really appreciate the kind words and the support throughout. It's been a tremendous opportunity to serve in this capacity, and it makes it a little easier, as the theme is still bittersweet, but it certainly makes it easier to work through this transition, knowing that Mr. Vijay Kapoor has thrown his hat in the ring and is willing to take the reins for receivership. Starting this out, did not expect this process to even take this long, but as the work continues, there is a clear path forward, and I have full trust and confidence in Mr. Kapoor to be able to lead us through these next steps, and Mayor Roots as well, and Secretary Seiger. Mr. Kapoor has been engaged on this project since day one. Was the first person that I tried to recruit and retain to build out the team, and it's been a great working experience. But I have to admit that this was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. I didn't expect to be in Chester for 5 years, but now I have an opportunity to go home and continue to serve our communities. But we will now transition, close this chapter, and the rest of this meeting or this discussion or the time that we have should really be about Mr. Kapoor. Mr. Kapoor, would you like to share a few words?
I would, and thank you. I'll still say this, Mr. Receiver, as you will be Mr. Receiver at least until June 30th. So do want to make that clear. Secretary Seiger, I very much appreciate the nomination. Mayor Roots, thank you for the kind words. And Mike, I appreciate everything that you have done, both personally and professionally for me, as well as for the city. As the longest serving receiver, you have also set the example for what a receiver should be. And I have learned an incredible amount from you. Your patience, your commitment, your grace, in a very difficult situation is something I have never seen before. I tell this story to many folks. I walk down the street with you. People stop in their cars to say hello to you. You don't know who they are, but they know who you are. And they're friendly about it too. And so I think that has a great, that says a lot for someone who may not be from Chester to have a community welcome you the way Chester did. And you had to earn it. And I hope to do the same. I'm humbled. I'm honored by this nomination. I have a great love for this city and have developed it over the past 5 years. This is a city that has had to fight simply to survive. And we have been, and we will continue to be relentless in terms of trying to help the residents here, and trying to do our job, which is to provide vital and necessary services to the city, and to do so on an ongoing basis in a way that is in the best interests of residents. We talked a lot about continuity. I want to echo that. Folks may wonder what's going to change. And I think while Mike and I may have different styles and different personalities, you are not going to see a change in substance. Mike's priorities are my priorities. One key thing that I just want to highlight in case folks are wondering is I will continue the position of this team that the water assets must remain publicly owned. We will continue to build upon what we've been doing over the last 5 years in partnership with the city, in partnership with the mayor. And again, we're going to be relentless in working on behalf of the residents of Chester. So if confirmed by the Commonwealth Court, I will be, again, honored and humbled to take this role. Mr. Secretary, thank you again. Mr. Mayor, thank you again. And Mike, just like the mayor has your number, I do as well. We do intend, and I think the community wants to as well, and I know you do as well, to stay involved here. Because again, this is something that all of us care a great deal about. We've put a lot of professional time in, but we've also put a lot of personal time in. I think we care about the city here, and we care about the future of the city. So, gentlemen, I sincerely appreciate the opportunity. We look forward to continue to work together. Unless anyone else has anything else to say, I think we may conclude for the day.
Thank you. Congratulations to both you guys. Thanks very much, and thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Secretary.